Greetings and welcome back to Room 303 in our chats with Emily, as we are calling our readings through the poetry of Emily Dickinson contained in the Johnson edition. We're looking now at poem 123, Many Cross the Rhine. Now, this is an interesting poem. It is, no question, a poem about memory and a poem about travel. But more interestingly, this poem proves that Emily can take the voice or the persona of someone other than herself. In this poem, someone is smoking a brown cigar, which has led most people to believe that the I speaker in the poem is not Emily Dickinson. Now, my Emily group had a real fun time trying to figure out then who is actually being referenced here. We'll share some of that here at the end. I love the fact that this is another short poem. I think actually Emily's doing a number of things in this poem, though. In poem 1063, Emily writes, "Ashes denote that fire was," and I love that line as it relates to her shorter poems. Now, our assumption is that you've been following our stuff at learnstrong.net, down that left-hand side, Chats with Emily, our playlist. I'm hopeful that you've already been exposed to our introductory set of comments, as well as the previous 122 poems. We just finished with poem 122, Something in a Summer Day. Now, let's enjoy this poem. Actually, poem 123 and the poem 124 both reference males. In 124, most scholars will guess it's Sam Boyle's. Here, well, it isn't clear exactly who she's referencing as she speaks now in the first person in a male voice. Many cross the Rhine in this cup of mine, sip old Frankfurt air from my brown cigar. Now, it isn't completely clear who she's talking about, although my Emily group has done a little research and thinks that maybe it's the great Henry Clay that's being referenced here, that and his allegiance to Kentucky, and a cigar brand that he created named Frankfurt, actually. And so all of a sudden Frankfurt is a place in Kentucky. So it's possible that she's playing games here and not actually referencing Germany at all. Now, the Rhine will get referenced in several poems, 214, 230, 383, and 583, the great river of Germany. In poem 214, she'll say, "Not all the vats upon the Rhine yield such an alcohol." So it's interesting that Emily, who never traveled anywhere, as she will say in poem 124, in Lands I Never Saw, here it's the Rhine, and notice many cross the Rhine in this cup of mine. Now, of course, there's a German river. The Rhine is also, of course, the name of a drink, no doubt. So it's possible she's playing here with either the river or the idea of the wine. Sip old Frankfurt air. And again, Frankfurt here can be, of course, Germany, but it can also be a place in Kentucky, which would then allow for this referencing of Henry Clay. And I'm indebted to my Emily group for making this connection, because I think it's brilliant that they've played that game. And even if we're wrong, by the way, Frankfurt and cigar only get used one time in all of Emily's poetry, and it's right here. Sip old Frankfurt air from my brown cigar. Clearly not Emily that's the speaker of this poem. Well, what exactly is going on in this little poem? I think the argument that she's making is that it doesn't take much to solicit wonderful memories. And I think for Emily, memories are precious. They matter to her. I love the uncertainty of who it is that is the male speaker here. I love that a cup of wine can be a symbol of good memories, as well as, of course, a brown cigar. I love the word choice of Frankfurt and cigar only being used once in all of her poetry. And I also love that she can reference the Rhine so powerfully again in poem 214. Now, the idea of memories and going back to memories, well, there's just so many different poets that we could reference that love the same thing. Think about what Wordsworth is doing in Lines Composed a Few Miles Above Tintern Abbey. We've given full lectures at learnstrong.net. The idea of coming back to a place, and that can be done physically, but can also be done, I think, as she is arguing, in the mind. This is a poem that I think has to be read with a little bit of a smile on the face by the speaker. And finally, at 3B, what is for you a similar kind of a memory, so that when you have it, you go back in time and you smile as you do it? Thank you.